Tomorrow is finally media day, and the Lakers will be back on the floor, giving us a little tease of how they might look. No, they won't actually practice yet. That comes Tuesday when training camp begins. But they'll be showing off the purple and gold, or maybe the gold and yellow, giving us a first look. They'll talk about what they worked on all summer, how their solo workouts have been going, and repeat a lot of what JJ Redick and Rob Pelinka said during their press conference. With that in mind, we'll preview training camp, break down the biggest storylines, and talk about the players, the roster, and more. We'll go through 5 storylines in today's video, and to start, it makes sense to focus on the new additions. That was probably the biggest topic from Pelinka and Redick, talking most about Marcus Smart, DeAndre Ayton, plus Jake LaRavia and rookie Dalton Connect. And when it comes to new players, it has to start with Ayton, the one expected to take on the largest role. He's likely sliding into the starting lineup to replace Jackson Hayes, playing around 28 to 32 minutes per game. If Ayton is serious and gets back to his Phoenix Suns version, early years, not the lazy final season or his lost 2 years in Portland, he can actually impact both ends. That's the version the Lakers need, and the version he says he's chasing. Bring back too. I mean, he clearly has every reason to do it. Not just to silence the critics and prove he can still be a key piece on a possible championship roster, but also because it's a contract year for him. That's more than enough motivation to get back to that level. Let's be real. He doesn't want to keep playing for scraps. He already gave up a massive $35 million salary for a buyout, and is now only getting $8 million with this team. Nobody at his level wants to live on pay cuts forever. Sure, he's got a player option for next year, but you know he's aiming to land one last big payday. Something closer to $20 to $35 million per season. That's the range he wants to get back into. And that's why he's pushing to prove his value again. So far, he's showing it early in training camp. But let's be honest, if JJ Redick is going to fully trust him to close games, he can't just float through. He's got to show it immediately, not only on offense as a lob threat and pick-and-roll partner for Luka Doncic and LeBron, but on defense too. He doesn't need to turn into some Dwight Howard in his prime, blocking shots and contending for Defensive Player of the Year. But he does need to at least anchor the defense and be reliable. That's all JJ Redick is really looking for, and it could decide how far the Lakers actually go, something their team is counting on and absolutely needs from him. That's the early outlook for DeAndre: commitment, defense, and his full energy in the middle. Now for Marcus Smart, that's more straightforward. The Lakers already know what he brings if he's healthy, and that's the big if. 2 injury-prone years in a row without even hitting 40 games. Health is the only real concern. Even JJ Redick admitted their medical staff is focused on rebuilding him into the version of himself that once won Defensive Player of the Year. That's what to watch. Is he healthy enough to still be that elite defender, and maybe even give them some 3 and D reliability? Because his hustle, leadership, and voice on the court aren't in question. Those are guaranteed. The only gamble here is his body holding up. After that comes Jake LaRavia, and he's the real wild card. His role could go anywhere. He might be a 7th or 8th man, maybe climb to 6th man, or if things break right, even sneak into the starting lineup. Nobody's expecting it, but the door is open. Not expecting that right away in training camp, but he clearly has a big window of opportunity. Only 23 years old and still untapped potential. How fast he develops and earns JJ Redick's trust will decide his role. The big questions: can he keep up his 3-point shooting from last season, and can he play consistent defense? That's what I'm watching for, and what Redick is expecting too. The Lakers don't really have another big 3 and D option in their rotation, so Jake LaRavia has a real chance to lock that spot. Then there's rookie Tidjane Salaün. Not much pressure on him yet, and expectations are low. If he can simply play defense, maybe step in as an injury replacement for Jared Vanderbilt, or be used in certain matchups, that's a win. If he also shows any offensive improvement, especially hitting threes, he might surprise. But for now, the bar is low. Overall though, this sets up storyline number 1, the new additions. The early impact they make, or fail to make, will define how this team starts. And that brings us to storyline number 2. Who ends up being the odd man out of the rotation? After all, JJ Redick likes running a tight rotation, and it can shrink fast. Will it be 10 men? 9? Maybe even 8 if things get serious. If that happens, multiple players are getting cut out. The early guess is that he'll stick with 10 guys for now, just to evaluate and give more players a chance early on. But even in a 10-man setup, someone's losing minutes. It could be Dalton Connect, could be Max Christie, could even be Gabe Vincent. Those 3 are probably battling for that last regular spot. Sure, matchups will matter and they'll get scattered minutes, but if they want to be in the lineup every night, that one slot is all that's open. So it's simple. Who can be the most reliable, who impresses Redick the most in camp, and who fits the two-way role he keeps stressing? That's the standard. Among them, Gabe Vincent might be the safest bet. He's not elite on either end, but he's steady, average to above average on defense, and he hit 35.3% from 3 last year. In a battle of good enough, Vincent checks the box more than the others. Across the regular season, he's a solid point of attack defender, a decent playmaker on defense, and reliable off the ball. That probably makes him the best bet for the 10th spot in the rotation. Still, both Dalton Connect and Max Christie have real chances too. Christie is the dark horse. People have basically forgotten about him. And why wouldn't they? He didn't play a single regular season minute after coming over in the Luka Doncic trade, and only got 5 garbage time minutes in their playoff elimination game. 3 straight years of injuries haven't helped either. So the question is, can he finally stay healthy and prove himself as a real option? His pathway is clear. He can do things other guys can't. He can slide to the 5, protect the rim, switch defensively, and even hit threes if he finds his rhythm. If he shows all that in camp, he could carve out a lane. But honestly, he still looks more like a matchup-dependent piece than a nightly rotation guy. Dalton Connect, on the other hand, has the highest upside but also the lowest floor. He's not reliable yet, especially on defense, but the guy can flat out shoot. He's already proven he can light it up, even in tough stretches. He dropped multiple 30-point games last season and, for a stretch, was arguably their best three-point shooter. He even started 16 games and averaged nearly 17 points during that run. So yeah, leaving Dalton Connect out of the rotation would feel strange. But if you're building the most dependable lineup for a championship contender, one that values two-way players who can be trusted every night, he might get pushed out, at least early in the season. Still, there's optimism around him. JJ Redick flat out said Connect overworked himself and didn't look right in Summer League because of it. But he's confident Connect can bounce back and return to form. That belief from the coach might be his biggest safety net. And here's how Redick put it.
Dalton is a guy that you guys were really high on when you drafted him. Admittedly, a weird end to last season, weird summer league. What have your conversations been like with him this offseason, or what have you seen from him in the gym that makes you confident that he could get back to the guy he was at the beginning of last season?
Dalton's in a really good spot right now. I've had a number of conversations with him throughout the summer. They've all been very positive. I really believe this. The guy did too much after the season, and I think in summer league he was burnt out. He was coming in here at 5 a.m., getting shots up, then doing 2 workouts with our summer league staff and in the weight room. We had our last conditioning run of the preseason today, and he beat everybody by a long way. He's in phenomenal shape. He's in a great spot mentally. He's played well throughout September.
Will it be Dalton Connect? Will it be Max Christie? Or will it be Gabe Vincent who locks down that final rotation spot? We'll see soon enough. But beyond the battle for the bench, the starting lineup itself is another big storyline. Outside of Luka Doncic, LeBron, and DeAndre Ayton, the 3 obvious locks, the question is who else fills those final 2 spots. Austin Reeves feels almost guaranteed for the 4th slot. Whether people argue about fit or not, his production, status, JJ Redick's trust, and the fact he's entering a contract year make him too hard to bench. Rui Hachimura, though, is less secure. His fit, the defense, and the balance of the rotation leave that fifth starter spot up for grabs. I don't expect it to shift during camp, but this could be the moment the seed gets planted for change. If Redick sees enough from Marcus Smart, Jake LaRavia, or Jared Vanderbilt, he might lean towards shaking things up later. If the starting five doesn't deliver the right balance, Redick won't hesitate to adjust. I personally think they'll start the year with Luka Doncic, LeBron James, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, and DeAndre Ayton. But within 5 to 10 games, that could change. Just like last season, when they switched lineups after 8 games. If it's not working, JJ Redick will pull the trigger. The candidates? Jake LaRavia, Marcus Smart, or Jared Vanderbilt, with Smart and Vanderbilt being the early favorites. If Hachimura isn't giving them what they need, and the defense still looks weak, Redick won't hesitate to swap him out for one of those two. Nobody's worried about their offense. Between Luka, LeBron, Ayton, and Reeves, they've got creation, shooting, playmaking, and a lob threat. The issue is defense, and that's where Smart or Vanderbilt could step in. That possibility is likely being tested quietly during camp. As for storyline number 4, it's all about health and durability. Believe it or not, this team is entering training camp fully healthy. JJ Redick swears that's the case, unless he's hiding something, and it's honestly the first time in recent memory the Lakers can say that. Last year, Jared Vanderbilt was hurt. The year before, Gabe Vincent went down almost immediately. Before that, Dennis Schroeder got hurt. And even earlier, plenty of guys missed camp or the start of the season because of off-season injuries or recovery. This year feels different. Apparently, everyone is healthy or close enough going into training camp, and that's a huge opportunity. It means unlimited lineup options, real flexibility, and no excuses about guys working back from injuries. JJ Redick has a full deck to shuffle. Still, with this roster's history, I'm cautious. Just last season, Vanderbilt, Marcus Smart, Max Christie, and DeAndre Ayton all failed to reach even 45 games. None of them cracked 100 games total over the past 2 years. That's brutal. They've got to prove they can stay healthy and reliable, because if they're not on the court, they can't contribute. That's the storyline here. Sure, they're entering camp healthy, but can they actually stay healthy through preseason and into the regular season? Can they finally break the pattern of injuries? I hope so, but it's something we all need to watch. And for storyline number 5, it's their open two-way contract spot. Yes, the Lakers technically have an open 15th roster spot, but they can't fill it yet. They're too close to the first apron and won't have that option until around January. So, the only move now is a two-way contract signing. Looking at their camp roster, the candidates are RJ Davis, Augustus Marcelionis, Kyler Kelly, and Eric Dixon. A fifth guy has been shuffled in and out over the last week, so not even worth naming yet. The real question: can any of these 4 actually stand out and earn that two-way deal? Ideally, it comes from within their camp instead of pulling someone from outside. If I had to pick an early favorite, it's Eric Dixon. He was Villanova's leading scorer last year, and is now the program's all-time scoring leader. A legit 3-level scorer, a strong 3-point shooter, and with his 6 feet 8 inches or 6 feet 9 inches frame, he can play the 4 and even slide into a small ball 5 role. But defense is still a big concern. Another option is Kyler Kelly, the oldest of the group and the only one with NBA experience. He played a few games with Dallas last season on a two-way, and maybe he can claw his way back into the league. If he impresses, he could be their third center, maybe even outshine Christian Coloco or push Jackson Hayes for minutes, which, honestly, I doubt. But hey, maybe there's a slim pathway for Kyler Kelly to land that two-way contract. If not, then it could come down to RJ Davis or Augustus Marcelionis. The problem for both is obvious. The Lakers already have a backcourt player on a two-way, Chris Mannion, and the main roster is loaded with guards. It's an uphill climb, but not impossible. If they can prove themselves with tough on-ball defense, reliable three-point shooting, steady playmaking, and smart reads of opposing defenses, one of them might sneak in. Overall, though, those are the big camp storylines. the open two-way spot, whether this team can actually stay healthy, the starting lineup battles, who gets cut out of the rotation, and how the new additions look. Those are exactly what JJ Redick will be watching closest. So now it's your turn. What do you think? Which storylines matter most? What are you expecting from the Lakers this camp? And what are you hoping to see? Drop your thoughts in the comments. That wraps it up for this one. If you enjoyed it, hit like, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Thanks for watching, and have a great day or night. Music!